Hello and welcome to an all-new Marvel Cast Explosion Network's hub for all things Marvel, a place to talk about everything MCU and beyond, from Avengers and Offenders to Lightmaster and Gideon Mace. My name is Ashley Hobley, your podcast host without fear, and joining me today is the astonishing Dylan Blight.
I have fear of anyone wearing a Punisher shirt now, you know?
It's fair. You know? They're either going to kill you, or they just really like the Punisher.
Yeah.
Both are scary prospects.
Yeah.
Today, we're talking about the latest episode of Daredevil Born Again, Episode 3, The Hollow of His Hands, directed by Michael Cuesta, written by Jill Blankenship. The trial of Hector Ayala begins. Fisk's old business associates seek to claim his vacant mantle. Dylan, what do you think of this latest episode of Daredevil Born Again?
I think what I've decided is I really like this episode, and the first two episodes feel very different to this episode. Or at least, I don't know, pacing-wise or something. I think there was a point, there was somewhere like halfway through the episode where I just felt like the pacing felt better. Or maybe that was just because everything had sort of been introduced in the past two episodes that, you know, coming into this, we'd introduced the players, we got the full card deck, and now we're shuffling around them. But it just seemed to be better, well-paced, going through it, the motions. I mean, everything's sort of playing out as we thought it would. But I haven't looked online to see what the reaction is, but I mean, it's a show called Daredevil where there's no Daredevil, so I'm sure that's going over well.
I mean, that was like most seasons of the Daredevil t-shirt.
Yeah, true. You know, we got a full courtroom drama. I thought that was really good. You know, it wasn't written like super realistic, but it also didn't feel like it was too drama-sized, I guess. Like it was sort of somewhere in the middle between an actual courtroom drama and, you know, but something that's also within the Marvel universe. And by that, I just mean like, you know, the core audience is probably not wanting a full-on courtroom drama. Yeah, but I think that was probably my favorite stuff. You know, I just think all the courtroom stuff and seeing that all play out, the subtleties or non-subtleties of all the superhero stuff being spoken about and what that obviously would be affecting Matt's mind in the background, and you know, and then to how it all comes to an end, that final sort of shot and everything. So I think this is definitely so far my favorite episode. I know we're only 3 in, but I overall thought this was a much better paced and put together episode than the previous two.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the episode. Obviously, it's a little less action heavy than the previous two. But yeah, I thought the drama around the case was really good. Obviously, the whole twist with the fucking witness who backed out. Bitch. And then, you know, we also get a little bit of the Kingpin doing his thing, and then obviously the final moments of the show could potentially have massive implications and effects on the future of the show. So, might as well just touch on the Kingpin stuff first. Obviously, a lot of the gangs within the city are kind of like trying to like take advantage of the Kingpin, kind of, or Fisk, and it seems Vanessa.
I don't know how much you watched I can't remember how much you watched of Penguin, but when all that stuff started happening, I'm like, oh, it's sort of like the plot of the Penguin TV show.
Yeah. So they seem to be the gangs seem to be fighting against each other. Vanessa seems to want to intervene and like kind of still be in control of everything. But Fisk is more like, nah, just let them kill each other, you know.
Well, she's the man.
She is the man, you know. I don't think Fisk is very happy about that. I feel like obviously there's a clear point of tension between him and Vanessa, like that they're bickering just before their therapy session. But obviously, yeah, I feel like it's pretty clear that's going to bite Fisk in the ass at some point in the series, that Vanessa is kind of running the underworld, I guess, kind of behind his back.
Presumably.
Or plans to continue, yeah. So that was, I mean, there's not a lot there, but obviously the big story of this episode is the trial. I thought it was really cool. Obviously picking up from last week, the one of the detectives meets Matt in the bathroom, just to check if he actually is blind. They seem to be pretty good, considering the beatdown Matt gave him at the end of last episode. It seemed like one of them almost broke their neck, and they seem to be walking around perfectly fine. So, the big concern at the start of the episode is whether they're going to be able to get their witness in to the courtroom. Matt overhears one of the police officers say, "Nikki Torres can't testify," and that kind of stuff. So, Cherry is transporting him, Nikki Torres, to the court, but it seems he's being followed by police and eventually gets stopped. But it turns out he's not in the van. He called a taxi with, I guess, one of the other.
Classic swerve, you know?
Yeah, classic switcheroo. I'm pretty sure they pulled that exact same trick in one of the other seasons of Daredevil. Yeah. Coming in with another associate from Murdoch and McDuffie, it seems. But then, fucking gets scared when he sees a courtroom full of police officers and decides to say that he wasn't getting beat up by a bunch of police. Kind of fucking over Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Backing them into a corner that ultimately they have no choice but to put Hector on the stand to testify for himself. And then Matt pulls, I don't know, the joke out of the deck and reveals that Hector is the White Tiger. Bold move.
Well, it is a very bold move, but I guess the other thing is just I wish someone would ask him how he'd felt if it was him. You know, Well, maybe that discussion will come up more next week, considering obviously he dies at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
But maybe that'll come back. Hey, Matt, if you hadn't have been the dude who literally, gave out this guy's secret identity in front of everyone, this wouldn't have happened. I feel like that conversation should happen. So.
Yeah, I guess. I guess the other question you have to ask is, this is a world in which the Avengers are superheroes. They save the world and all this kind of stuff. What's the difference between a vigilante and a superhero?
Well, I don't
And
know.
why
I
are
guess
the Avengers getting a free pass? Why does Captain America get a free pass, but White Tiger
not really.
he's
I guess
not really doing much different
at the moment. The superheroes, I guess, are if we're saying this takes place in current timeline, what superheroes are sort of on a mixed relationship, aren't they? A bit.
No, I think you save the planet you return half the planet to life. You should get being people's good graces.
True.
You would think.
Maybe it's the if you're a big time, you've got some cool superpowers versus you're a dude in a suit sort of thing.
I guess it's the secret identity thing, right? That's the difference.
Everyone knows who Tony Stark is.
Everybody knows who all the
Steve
Avengers
Rogers.
really are.
Yeah.
So
maybe that's the difference. Maybe that is actually the difference. If if they want to go down that Marvel storyline,
yeah,
again, somewhat, and try and do it better.
Potentially. Yeah, so I enjoyed the judge just ripping him out because he did fuck over the judge. He did fuck over the district attorney. And I feel like that's going to have repercussions to his career going forward. Him saying, him being White Tiger doesn't apply to this case, and then turning around saying him being White Tiger is a massive part of this case. Then we get a bunch of testimonies that they quickly put together of people being saved by White Tiger and what the great dude he is and all that kind of stuff. Even reading police reports of White Tiger working with him and that kind of stuff. And then I think we just get the DA go. His rebuttal is, even if he's a good guy, he can be a bad guy for one moment. Do you know what happens when you get pushed in front of a train? You get swished, and then you don't even die straight away. You have to wait till they reverse. I don't know if that's true. It sounds pretty gruesome. Yeah, but in the end, the court finds White Tiger not guilty.
Mm.
Um,
I think shout outs. I can't remember the actor's name. Obviously passed away, but that a really good performance. I think. You know.
yeah. Who is it? What is? Here we go. Kamar de los Reyes.
Mm.
Yes, who did die during production. I'm not 100% sure the timeline. He passed away late 2023. So, yeah. Obviously, another key thing is Matt tells him during the case that now he can't go out and be a White Tiger anymore because he knows who he is, and they assume if he does any vigilante work, the police would arrest him because they know who
No,
they
the
are.
police will just shoot you.
But no, it turns out yes, he is shot after putting the suit on one last time. Maybe it's not exactly clear, and is just shot dead in the head in the middle of the street.
I didn't take it as him putting on one last time. I took it as like
Getting back into doing it
getting
again.
back into it. Like it didn't to him. It wasn't.
There was no choice.
There was no difference.
That's what a hero does.
Yeah, so it was the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do.
Mm.
So who killed White Tiger and why? I think it's very interesting that it's just the killing is juxtaposed with Kingpin's interview with BB, talking about how this was a miscarriage of justice. Should have been allowed to the case. They got the case wrong. Vigilantes are bad. There needs to be justice, or whatever, and then he is shot.
Mm. Well,
does it imply Kingpin is responsible?
I feel like you're meant to assume you are that it is, but I don't think he is.
No, I don't think he is either. I think it is just a rogue. Yeah. I suspect a rogue Punisher cult.
I assume it's that.
NYPD.
I'd assume it's just that same cop who was punched in the face.
Yeah, potentially. I mean,
like if they want to have someone who's had the most screen time that the audiences now recognize when it's revealed, it's like that's the guy, right? So
yeah,
yeah, but I assume in this version of Fisk we've got at the moment, we're so focused on trying to do it not necessarily the right way, but the less violent way, I guess, is the direction he seems to be heading. Because he's not. We've seen he's not against breaking the law or whatever else, but he seems to be trying to do away with his thuggish tactics or whatnot. So him calling in BB.
Yep.
Yeah. That's his, like, he's trying to play the political game the quote unquote right way.
Yep.
But yeah, I totally just took it as that it was that cop.
Yes. So that makes it interesting because this could potentially blow that up in his face. You know what I mean? You put out that interview, suddenly White Tiger's dead. Everybody's going to assume.
Especially if they played with the timeline, and because they've edited it as if the two things are happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Next episode, we can find out the interview actually went out prior to people finding out that he was dead or anything like that. So then he is really not good, because then the implication is he puts out that video, someone goes and kills him. The mayor put forth a hit, basically.
Yes. Which we assume Wilson Fisk is not responsible for.
No.
And, Matt is hot-headed and quick to action, so... So... I don't think he's going to take that news very well. Yeah. Anything else you want to discuss from this episode? I mean, the only thing we didn't discuss is Matt and his new girlfriend having dinner. And him toasting Foggy.
Like obviously it was a sentimental scene somewhat, but I think the other thing I was making think about is, Daredevil at his core is this character who, lawyer by day, and when the justice system fails, he puts on the costume and gives out the criminals what they couldn't get in court. And now we're seeing sort of a very stereotypical Daredevil sort of storyline play out in a world where he would put on the suit, because you've seen justice. He says that line about justice. Sometimes it happens in the court or whatever. Sometimes it happens right, and that's why he's having that celebratory drink. But now he's going to find out that no, justice didn't end up right, because dude was literally killed. In another world, this is where the Daredevil comes out and gets the revenge that he couldn't get in court, but that's not what's going to
Well,
happen.
we assume that's what's going to happen. He's going to start to uncover this Punisher.
Yeah, but I
faction.
don't think he's going to do that in the suit, is the thing. Like, I don't think we're anywhere close to him putting the suit back on.
I mean, I think it eventually leads to... There's too many screenshots of him in the suit.
I think he 100% puts the suit on, but I don't think that's happening until, like, I don't know,
Okay.
second last episode at least or some shit. I reckon we're getting that far.
I don't know. I think it could be sooner. Especially if, like, there's pressure against Fisk about being too violent against vigilantes, you know? You could see that as an opening to get back in the red, you know? Anything else you want to discuss?
Don't think so. No, I think we covered all. Obviously, I feel like the series is obviously sort of being written in these arcs somewhat, and I guess if we just come out of the White Tiger arc across 3 episodes, now we're going to go into the next arc, which presumably is the Punisher arc. I don't know. Like,
yeah, it's hard to say because we're already a third way through.
Yeah,
only 9 episodes. So, let us know what you thought of this latest episode of Daredevil Born Again by finding us on Blue Sky at ExplosionNetwork.com or find us on other social media at ExplosionPod. If you want to help us out here at an all-new Marvelcast, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars, and you can leave 5 stars or just tell a bit about the show. And if you've enjoyed this episode, thoughts worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at ExplosionNetwork.com/supports. Thank you very much for listening. Make sure you watch next week's episode of Daredevil Born Again. And join us next time for another Marvelcast.